Hello, hello. Welcome back to episode number 4. This is episode 4.
Okay.
I am here with a lovely guest this week, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Well, greetings, everyone. My name is Normia Vazquez Scales, and I deem myself in layman's terms, a teacher of sorts, healer of sorts, creative of sorts.
And we need all of those things.
Yes, and
We
all
need-
things communication.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
beautiful. Well, thank you
Yes.
for being here with us.
Mhm.
So what out of that list are you focused on currently? If one or the other.
Right now, the creative is always at the forefront of things,
Okay.
but I would have to say it would be enunciate at recalibrating the scales. In terms of an endeavor, it's a novel endeavor, but it's all things communication.
Right.
Yet again, not to be redundant,
Yeah.
but which has been cultivated throughout the course of my life.
Sweet.
So
That's beautiful.
yes.
Yeah, I love that. So as far as a creative, what is your favorite outlet?
Oh, I would have to say it is.
That's a tricky
It's a
question.
competition between the verbal
Yeah.
and the written.
Okay.
I'm completely enamored both. Well, I have a love affair with words,
Yeah.
but I also have an affinity for all things audio.
Okay.
So it's
So a nice balance.
it speaks of my introversion.
Yeah. So do you write poetry? Do you songwrite? What do you do?
Well, creative writing in particular, but poetry,
Okay.
prose poetry is by far,
Yeah.
it's definitely in the repertoire.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. How long have you been doing creative writing for?
I have been doing creative writing since primary school.
That's beautiful.
It was K through 8 back then.
Yeah.
Whoa, you're evoking more nostalgia, taking me down memory lane.
Yeah.
You are, yeah.
Walk you down that path. I love that.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I write poetry myself. I'm trying to hold myself more accountable to do it regularly. I have I go through phases with my writing.
Yes.
I definitely have a hard time committing to things, including my own practices. I'm
Yes.
transitioning from being a people pleaser into focusing on myself more.
Indeed.
So this is good. This is good. This is going to make me want to write more.
Okay.
Love having like-minded people around.
Yeah.
So, what is one thing that you've learned as a healer this year?
One thing that I've learned as a healer is to not defy the voice that we all have, to succumb to that voice, to surrender to that voice, and to, courtesy of the pandemic, to basically find time just to slow down, to pace yourself, give yourself permission
Yeah.
to smell the roses.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like, however it's relevant, relative
Yeah.
from person to person.
Right. That's beautiful. That's a good piece of advice.
Yes.
I do think that the hustle culture that we live in is rather toxic at times, to say the least.
Yes.
To say the least, and it is definitely good. Like sometimes when people ask me about my day, and I'm like, oh yeah, I went on a walk,
Yeah.
I relaxed, I had a good time, I saw a friend. They're like,
Yes.
what do you do? I'm like, I'm living. What are you doing?
Yes. Yes.
I'm enjoying
Yes.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting, the culture we live in. But yeah, definitely people stop and smell the roses.
Mm-hmm. And as you should.
Yeah.
When you say you took a walk, you're being in the moment,
Yeah.
in the present,
Right.
mindfulness speak.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, especially with technology
Mm-hmm.
making the leaps and bounds that it has
Yes.
not encouraged people to be present.
I agree.
It has encouraged people to do either two of the extremes, I feel like, to either dwell on the past because things are always reminding you of stuff, you know what I mean? Like if you have Snapchat, if you have Facebook, if you have Instagram, everything has memories now, where it's like, this was you on this day 5 years ago.
Yes.
This was you on this day 10 years ago.
Mm.
And I feel like that is encouraging people to live in the past. And then there's also the flip side of it where it's like everything is marketing, right? So it's all showing you what you could have and who you could be and who this person that you're, all these things that you might be able to attain in the future, but not now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I feel like it's hard for, especially young kids, to find that balance. This new generation, as you know.
Oh, yes. Wholeheartedly concur.
Is different.
It is.
It's different.
So grateful to have been born during the era in which I'd been gifted.
Yes, I am too, honestly. You know what's really funny? I was walking by a group of girls the other day, and I just kind of casually overheard some of their conversation, and they were like, yeah, I hate when I talk to people who were like born in the 1990s. Like, they're always like, yeah, I was born in 1990, but they're so old. And I was like, I'm old now.
Hardly.
I was like, that's so crazy. But it was just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, thinking about it, like, perspective-wise, when I was younger, I would think that people in the 80s were old. You know what I mean? So, like, it makes sense, like, on the scale of their lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if you've only been alive for 18 years, then somebody who's 30 is almost close to, you know what I mean, having at least a decade, if not almost twice your age, you know? So it can get, I guess, in a sense, like, it's like, yeah, to you that seems old.
Mm-hmm.
But in the real world, it is very much on the younger side of things. And even that, like, 60 is the new 30, I feel like.
Yes.
I feel like it is. I feel like because people are now starting to understand that you don't have to just work until you die.
Yes.
And people are living longer.
Yes. Multi-dimensional thinking.
Yeah.
People.
Yes.
I would have to say.
There's more of that. And I do appreciate social media for that and for connecting like-minded people and that aspect. Definitely.
Yes.
But it's definitely tricky to navigate, I feel like.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
When you say you're a healer, could you elaborate on what that means?
I would have to, intuitive healer, I would have to say. Healing, basically, however is warranted. So it could be physical healing, it could be socio-emotional healing.
Yeah.
I'm basically accommodating both and holding myself accountable. And being my own, basically my own practitioner, and basically heeding whatever wise counsel that I offer or render to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I strive to make it a point to basically to incorporate, to live the truth, to be a truth speaker, to be authentic.
Okay.
So that's a component of. I hope I answered that question. Let me know if I need to expound.
How would somebody approach you?
Mm-hmm.
I guess, who was looking for guidance, or like, what is?
And pull the mic a little bit closer.
What would that look like?
If someone was going into my coaching realm, you and I should talk offline about this accountability.
Yes.
But if going into that coaching realm, it all starts with a series of questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that burning question. So what spurs you to believe or have this notion that you require healing? What healing of what sort?
Right.
Of what note?
That is a tricky question to start with.
Oh yes.
You gotta do some digging.
It's like talk to me. So enlighten me, won't you? What is it? What do you feel? What do you feel is lacking or deficient in your life? Mm-hmm. And then the conversation would organically, unfold from there.
That's beautiful. Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
So then, then that would be they'll basically, typically, from a forthright standpoint, people are pretty transparent.
Yeah.
For some reason, I've noticed over the course of years and decades, dating myself, that people seem to have there's a tendency for people to gravitate towards me. They find that trust and that comfort.
Yeah,
I
definitely bring that energy.
I strive to to bring the zen, preferably, as opposed to the fire.
Yeah, yeah, that is something.
There's duality there.
There is. I definitely know, in some sense, what that feels like. I've been told recently, like, wow, you bring a lot of like calm into spaces, and I'm like, oh, that's good.
Yes.
So the world is chaotic.
Yes, we need it.
We do need it.
Yes.
So how would people, if they felt like they needed some healing, how would they reach out to you? How would they contact you for that?
Basically, I dial direct. I have no aversion to giving my contact number, my direct contact information, email, phone number, wireless.
You have
And
Instagram, Facebook, social media?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
How would people find you there?
So that's Recalibrating the Scales.
Okay.
Uh,
On Instagram?
On Instagram. Email address is manifest@recalibratingthescales.com.
Nice. Sweet.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Gotta let the people know how they can reach out.
And I wouldn't be authentic to my communication craft if I didn't respond
Yeah.
in an expedient manner. I pride myself. I'm a little obsessive compulsive
Okay.
when it comes to communication.
I feel like that too gives people a sense of comfortability and like sense of compassion, you know?
Yeah.
Like that you care enough to see that and take that into your own space and then
Mhm.
prioritize it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Were you speaking of the communication?
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
That's the forefront of everything for me. I believe that's the origin of everything.
Yeah, it
Communication.
is. It is. I feel like it's so weird in this day and age, though. I'm realizing this, like, about my sis. Like, I have a younger sister who's Gen Z,
Mhm.
and you've met her, and like sometimes she'll be telling me about things. No, it's just my generation does this, and I'm like, I am mortified for your generation.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I remember one time we were having a conversation. This was a few years ago when she was still in high school, though. But
Mhm.
she was saying how, like, I forget what the conversation was about, but I remember her rebuttal was something along the lines of, like, well, at least I can, like, go out and order my own food in a restaurant.
Hmm.
Most of the kids my age can't do that. And I was like, it just made me think about how deep things really are getting for these kids who are growing up on technology. And it's removing any and all personable experiences that they might encounter
Mhm.
because everything is now through the phone. Like, they want to order food, that's fine. They order food, they just do, and then they go and pick it up. They don't have to talk to anybody. They might have to say their name, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
they want things, they order them on Amazon. They come to the house. They want whatever. It's all direct deliver
Oh, boy.
and
Mhm.
immediate gratification, and
Mhm.
it is so scary to me.
We are kindred spirits indeed, because
Yeah.
that phrase, immediate instant gratification,
Yeah,
was one of the things that came to mind.
yeah,
It's such a double-edged sword.
it is.
It is.
Moderation in everything is necessary, and I feel like the kids who have grown up with technology have not had any sense of moderation.
Or there's no need to wait for anything.
Yeah,
Everything is expedient.
yeah,
And again, duality, another dual-edged sword.
right,
DoorDash.
right,
We live, Max.
yeah,
We live in the same. We live in the scheme of everything.
Yeah.
Convenience.
hmm
Yet he defers to DoorDash.
Like me, I don't even trust it. I don't trust people enough to pick up my.
Mhm.
Like, you don't even work for the company. I can't even
Mhm.
really hold you accountable. Like, if
Mhm.
you do some weird stuff to my food, if you want to stick a finger in something, I don't know. My brain just
Oh.
won't allow it, especially as somebody who's worked in the restaurant industry. I'm
Oh,
already like,
okay.
me ordering from restaurants is already taking a risk.
Mhm.
Because we're in America and our standards are not very high for things.
No.
And
unfortunately.
so that's a risk in itself. And then you want me to put more risk
Mhm.
and, like, giving somebody the responsibility to get it to me that, like, who was really obviously only doing this for money.
Mhm.
So there's no good intent, but it's just
Oh, I do.
it doesn't sit well with me.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
I've had some tricks of the trade and some secrets revealed about the industry, which gives me pause. The restaurant industry.
I'm just glad we live somewhere that at least
Mm.
puts the grade of the restaurant up.
Oh,
There's a I didn't like it didn't fully click in my brain that is not that's a state by state thing. It's not a federal thing.
Really?
It's not a federal thing. Like there are some federal laws, yes, to owning a restaurant, but like as far as the sanitation and all that goes, that's a state by state thing. Not all states have to post publicly what their rating is. You know what I mean? And that is just so scary to me. So scary to me as somebody who's worked in restaurants.
You basically enlightened me because I thought it was the standard throughout the country.
It is not.
It's not.
I've seen the new
That's
things where
discomfort
they have
now.
to- I don't think it's in every state, but they have to put, like, Chipotle has, they have a sign on the door that says food may cause cancer. It lists all these things that's in it. It says our food may cause cancer. And it's like the restaurants have to do
Ooh.
Oh no, I didn't hear
Thank you
about that one.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
critical nugget that you just rendered.
I did not hear about that
Bless
one.
you.
But I know that that's been a thing like
Cross off the list.
in Europe, right? In Europe you can go and you can buy American things, but anything you buy American has a huge cancer label on top of it, like smack down. Like any and everything you think of. And they have the same things. You want a Capri Sun, you want Pringles, you want they have it in the UK. It's just not cancerous because their standards are higher.
All I'll say, to the east, my sister to the east. And that's a conversation within itself.
Yeah. And I'm just like, wow. Like, I really love traveling because it's one of my favorite ways to learn.
Yes.
You know, and like you can learn from people's personal experiences to some extent, but you can't fully get a grasp for anything until you really go and experience it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced and it's like there's so much better out here. Nobody can convince me otherwise.
Oh, of course. And it's they're pretty unabashed about broadcasting it. Yeah, in other countries, what their standards versus our standards, what's permissible versus what's the contrary. Yeah. Once again, to the east, my sister to the east.
Okay. Now, if you know, you know.
And around.
Right. Yeah. Do you have any trips planned?
I do. I'm gearing up for a trade mission to Hong Kong.
That's beautiful.
It's a 2023 U.S. Department of Commerce certified trade mission there.
Wow.
And I will be driving communication. So
I love that. Congratulations.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. I've been immersed in like hyper preparation mode.
Yeah.
I have to get out of my head.
Yeah.
I'm a feminine energy woman, which is another conversation. But I found myself in my head quite a bit.
Yeah, you gotta let it go, you know?
No,
we briefly talked about it before. It wouldn't be happening if it wasn't supposed to. So
yeah, yes. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You just gotta go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to Hong Kong or China before?
This is going to be my first trip to Asia. Wow. And Hong Kong, let alone that. So
Yeah.
I'm easing into it. I think the butterflies are beginning to subside a bit.
Yeah. That's great.
But yes, that conversation that we had offline was definitely positively instrumental, and I do want to render my gratitude. I'd be remiss if I didn't do that.
I'm glad I could help.
Yes.
I'm glad I
Absolutely,
could help.
absolutely, yes.
That's great. Hong Kong is definitely on my list. My sister, that's where her mother's from. Yeah.
Okay.
And so she has some family, and her relatives are from there, and I would love to go, but I'm one of those people who I either have to be super prepared for something and know exactly what I'm getting into, or I have to go with somebody whose judgment I trust. And so I would love to go with her and her mother.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you should.
To experience
You
it and have somebody who
should.
can communicate and all of that, because I feel my mom has been she has gone through her traveling phases, and she went to Vietnam one year for Christmas and was out there for 2 weeks. I think a week was by herself, and I was just like, huh? What do you mean you're on the back of a scooter riding through rice paddies in Vietnam.
Oh, wow. She's channeling my free spiritness.
It's beautiful, like, listening to the adventures that she finds herself on, because I'm like, the courage that takes to really just trust yourself to know that you're going to get to where you're going and get back, regardless of communication barriers, regardless of any outstanding or outlying possibility. It's just, we went backpacking for 6 weeks in Europe, and that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That
That
was a great
sounds
trip.
mouth-watering.
It was,
Yeah.
and it was right before the pandemic.
2019 was such a precursor. It seems, well, I'd say more sunny side up than
Yes.
It was definitely an intense travel year.
Yeah,
I can recall.
It was beautiful. It was great. We went all over Europe. It was an amazing experience.
Aren't you glad?
I'm so happy that I got to see so many things before it all shut down. I got to see Venice before it flooded.
Oh.
I got to see, like, all of the things. We were in Rome, Venice, Milan. We did a 10-day cruise through Greece. Stopped in Croatia, 6 islands in Greece.
Oh my goodness.
We went back. We went to Germany. We went to Karlsruhe and Dusseldorf. We went to Switzerland. Got to ride. We rode a bus through the Swiss Alps. Oh my God.
That sounds like heaven on
It was
earth.
breathtaking. And it was like a $20 bus ride because everything is so cheap. Once you get into Europe, I feel like Americans don't fully understand how big America is in comparison to other places.
Yes.
So, like, for us, like, we're in North Carolina. You can drive to Georgia 4 or 5 hours, right?
Yes.
There, it's like you can be in Italy and then you can be in Germany in a couple hours. You can be in Germany and you can be in Switzerland in a couple hours. Like, it's crazy how easy it is to travel and how cheap it is once you get there. The most expensive thing about traveling Europe is going to be your flight to and from Europe. Once you're there to get around,
Yes.
it's like megabus money, but way nicer.
Oh.
Everything is way nicer.
When were you there?
Huh?
When were you there?
When was I there? And we were there from August, the beginning of August, first week of August we left, and we got back in first week of September.
You and Max were sliding doors.
Really?
You just missed one another.
Oh wow!
Like clipping wings.
Wow.
That's interesting. It was a very similar itinerary you all had. It was late June, July.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But, his paternal family, they do
Sweet.
quite a bit of international travel. So they did their Croatia was on that list.
Nice,
and Italy and
Croatia and Italy.
the UK.
Croatia and Italy were definitely high on my list. Greece, I'm good on Greece.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. But
I haven't been there yet either. But
we can talk
please.
about that one.
And I want you to yes.
Yeah, Germany was cool.
That.
Amsterdam, I went to. We spent the last 4 days in Amsterdam, and that was beautiful. It was very eye opening though, because I think both Amsterdam and Switzerland have like 6 national languages.
Really?
It was insane. Like I was gone for 6 weeks and I had no idea what anybody was saying for like the majority of the time. Because it's like when you're in places that have 6 national languages, the people who live there aren't even speaking the same language. You know what I mean? Like, and for the most part, people know how to speak English, but they're just choosy on when they do.
I see.
Okay. And other than the people who are trying to sell you stuff for the most part, or like are in the tourism areas, and I don't really like staying in the tourist parts of things, so it was beautiful. I loved it. I think not everybody likes not being able to understand people, but for me, it was great. I was like, this is great. I can just exist around people, and I'm unbothered by you.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're saying. It's great. It was a great experience. I'm so happy I got to do that.
Oh, what it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was definitely eye-opening. To like, wow, it better exists. Even though I didn't like Greece, I did have a really good conversation with somebody. We were talking about, it was one of my waiters in a restaurant, and I was just like asking him what his experience is like as a waiter in Greece versus I know what my experience is like as a waitress in America. So I just kind of wanted to see that comparison for myself. And he's like, yeah, like I work here during the holiday seasons, and I play, I forget what instrument he played, but he plays some instrument in a hotel. So he does that, and he works in the restaurant 6 months out of the year. The other 6 months he travels.
Oh. Wow. Memory lane.
I said, oh, wow.
Nostalgia.
I said, oh, okay.
Once upon a time.
Oh, so you're making enough money in this restaurant to sustain and to have a home to come back to while you travel for 6 months. It just really just changed my perspective on a lot of things, where it's like, of course, everywhere has their battles and everyone has their, you pick your evils, but like, that sounds great.
It does.
Free healthcare on top of that?
Tell me.
What?
Tell me about it. Yes.
What?
Tell
I'm
me,
like,
yes. Mm-hmm.
This sounds like a life I could be living. Yeah. You said nostalgia. What, did you at one point in your life travel a lot?
Oh, did I? Yes. I worked for an airline in my distant past.
I love that. Okay, so you were all over it.
Which actually is interesting. Talk about coming full circle. So I attribute a vast majority of my international travels to working, having served that particular airline. Unfortunately, they're no longer operating.
Okay.
But the facilitator for the trade mission, she and I actually worked for that same airline.
Wow.
And we just reconnected after in excess of 20 years?
Yeah.
And she's made leaps and bounds.
That's
Talk
beautiful.
about blossom. She is Miss International Business Authority.
Wow.
Yes,
That's
and
amazing.
she's facilitating. She's coordinating this trade mission.
That's
so
beautiful.
I'm looking forward to seeing her. I'm looking forward to catching up organically in person,
right,
versus over the phone,
right,
and basically plan the rest as it comes.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, things really do come full circle.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's amazing. I had a weird moment like that. One of my relatives who I haven't talked to in years randomly was like calling me a couple months ago, and I was like, what could she possibly be calling me for? Like I was like, what? But it turns out that she works, she got a new job and is working with the owners of the dance studio that I grew up going to when I was a kid. And she was like, yeah, like, I saw her and I was like, I know you. Like, my cousin, I used to bring her to the dance studio. Like, it was so crazy. Yes. And I was just like, wow, things really, everything is connected. Everything is truly connected.
It is. It
like,
is. Oh, dance.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great part of my life.
I'm curious. What dance form? Or dance forms?
What didn't I do? So I trained for 17 years. I started, the school that I was referring to is the one that got me into dance. That was an African studio in Boston, and it was amazing.
That sounds,
It was amazing. Their core at the time was definitely more modern focused, but we were learning like techniques and not just modern. Like I came down south and they were like, yeah, just take a modern class, and I'm like, that's like saying go take a language class but not telling me what language I'm taking.
Gotcha.
Like,
gotcha.
Yeah, so that it was kind of like that. So when I was in Boston, I was being taught like Horton technique, and they had a lot of connections with a lot of people, and it was a beautiful experience. I learned like Kiswahili as a kid. Like we did plays, I did spoken word. They introduced me to a lot of my creative outlets that I still hold on to now, and so thankful for them. That was a beautiful, great experience. They've created and produced a lot of amazing, talented artists. Great experience. So there I did African, jazz, modern, hip-hop. We did some ballet there, but I did most of my ballet training somewhere else. And then I started doing pointe when I was about 9 years old. I was really young. It's very, very young. Most of my life was kind of sped up. I was never really around people my age or doing things in my age group. And that was in school and dance and almost all facets of my life. So, yeah, I started that at a really early age because I was, I guess, ready for it in a sense. And thankfully I was, and I don't have any crazy injuries, and I took care of myself, and my feet still are presentable, things like that. So that's a blessing. But I've done like Alvin Ailey programs. I've done their summer programs. That was a beautiful experience. I've performed. I performed at like Women's Empowerment one year, like a decade and some change ago. But that was one of my larger performances that we did. There was like 10,000 people there. That was cool. But yeah, so I've been on some big stages. I've done some cool things when it comes to dancing. But it was earlier on in my life and before technology took off and did what it did. So not much of it is documented but I'm honestly kind of glad that it's not. I have those internal memories and experiences and muscle memory. I can still go take a class now when my knees like it. Maybe not, but like I can keep up.
It's not too late.
I'm definitely trying to ease myself back into it, but a couple things I got to be a little wary of and like focus on just getting myself back in shape first before I full throttle throw myself back into it, because I'm often a person who's like, oh, well, I knew I could do it at this level previously.
Okay.
And then I try to jump into things at the same level even though time has passed. So I'm trying to be mindful of things like that.
Okay.
In age. Yeah. It's been an experience. But yeah, dance was definitely my first love, my first outlet, my first true form of expression, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah. I did that. I swam when I was a kid, and I did karate also. Yeah. I want to get back into martial arts.
Oh, wise decision.
Yeah.
Wise decision. And we have some commonalities.
Yeah.
You and I. Dance is definitely one of my unwavering affinities. I've been out the loop though with the West African dance, the Latin dance circuit, so salsa, and it helps me to tap into to sustain my divine feminine energy. Per se.
That's beautiful. My sister did ballroom dance.
Oh, I tried it.
Yeah.
I tried it.
She was I didn't know how she could do any of that. That was like beyond my comprehension. It's a different skill set, It's a very different skill set.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. It's a very different skill set.
Yeah, it is.
I respect it. I feel like people look at it and they're like, oh, but it's like, no, that takes some training and a lot of time, focus, energy, and effort. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. The tango's nice.
If
I can only master it, though.
You can master anything you put enough time into.
I'm following the dance realm, and it translates elsewhere also. But something about that strong lead. Yeah. Having a strong lead makes all of the difference.
It does. It's nice to sometimes be in the back seat. Yes. Especially as a woman in society.
Yes.
It is nice to be in the back seat sometimes.
Yes.
As a mother, I'm sure that you could only appreciate it even more than I do. Yeah.
But yes, it's definitely an outlet for me personally to practice that art of surrendering, because there is an art to it.
There is.
There's an art to everything.
There is indeed. Yeah. That was probably one of the scariest things in Point was when you had a partner. It's like you're putting so much trust into some little boy. It was crazy. Like when you partner with somebody in Point, it's a lot of like lifting and turning is what you're partnering on.
Okay.
And so Like, you have to hold your form in a position, and they're literally just like turning you. You know what I mean? So if they're off balance, or if they're turning to, if anything is off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have control over that because you've given them the lead. So it was an interesting, scary kind of thing.
Trust.
Yeah, trust was a scary thing to learn as a kid. I was like, wait a minute, I don't know about it.
Trust.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely want to start taking classes more, though. I definitely need to go take another African class soon.
Carpe diem. Nice. Go. Let me. I'm an encourager.
Yes.
I might get you in trouble.
That's not.
Yeah.
I don't think trouble exists, really.
Yes. I say, listen. In light of the past few years that's been befallen us all, go for it. Go for it.
Because why not? Yeah.
There are no guarantees.
At all in anything in life.
Yes.
Ever.
No, it's not.
That's one of those things where, like, I'm realizing that a lot of people around me create a lot of stress for themselves by making plans and really expecting them to go as planned. You know what I mean? Okay. I think you can make goals and expect to reach your goals. And I think that's reasonable. Now, time frame is not predictable. You know what I mean?
That's true.
The process that it's going to take you to get there is not predictable.
Yes.
And I think people often feel like it is. And they're like, well, if I just plan it out step by step and I just follow these steps, I'm going to get to this. And it's like, you might not. You can follow all those steps, but that might not guarantee you to get to your destination because you're not actually really set on that. You know what I mean? It's that finding that fine balance of working towards your goals, but not getting wrapped up in the process.
Middle ground.
Well,
I'm gonna say, I'm no stranger to that. You know, the gray shades, the gray area type of a gal, which is what spurred me from engineering. I was in a very technical field when I first started my academic collegiate career.
Okay.
Metallurgical engineering of all.
Wow.
Very technical, very STEM.
Wow.
And
very
segued.
Intelligent.
It was a polar opposite. I nosedived into communication.
Yeah.
Had my sights set on photojournalism at the time.
Okay.
More creative work. So I discovered that I'm just not a black or white person. I can be, but my nature is definitely
gray area.
Yeah. Call it the middle child within.
Yeah.
You know, trying to find that win-win. Yeah, so.
Yeah, as a Libra and middle child, I know that feeling.
Are you a fellow middle child?
I am.
Oh, I love you.
I am.
I
got
love
two
you.
Older,
No wonder.
Two younger.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We have so much talking to do.
Yes, we will get to that off camera. I'm so happy that you were able to come here and be a guest.
Thank you.
Do you have anything that you want to share before you head out? Or are you in a good space?
I would, it's my father's birthday today.
Okay.
And I would love to share a prose piece that I had written.
Go for it.
Is it okay for me to?
Please.
I'd love to share that. Yeah, coupled with his humble yet meaningful gift.
Yeah, here for it.
I
Mic
call
is
this. Yours. So this is from Pardon My Vernacular. Pardon the wear and tear here. It's been through a few battlefields. But pardon my vernacular wordsmith at large. Okay.
Beautiful.
Volume 1. It's titled Perseverance, Ode to the Modern Day Superman, dedicated to Dad.
Love it.
Dust swirls, fine as flour, as you grace the surface of your arena. Fleet-footed, lapping every opponent prior to zealously ripping, shredding the finish line, marking the cadence of your race. Spectators applauding your approval, confirming victory, alas. You ferociously touched down, flawlessly rendered each layup and scurried home, mutilating the base alongside your compadres cheering you on after yet another score. Redefining the essence of the four-letter man, reigning through the campaign of life amid the years. I recall your stately presence, gliding through the corridors of the Bernard Gentry Center, peering approvingly through the ajar door as my peers and I harmonize to morning song. Among penmanship and pastel paintings, you, Father, faithfully, fearlessly forever present. Field excursions and all. Available to my siblings and I, your pride and joy, who accepted the torch you'd gifted, coupled with the priceless counsel on and off sidelines, fields, and courts. Despite the casualties you'd incurred from an employer involuntarily laid to rest, your armor remained unscathed, and your majestic cloak untattered, valiantly defying the adversary of untimely circumstance at every turn. Branding you as the unwavering hero I perceive you to be across time and space, the pinnacle of success bearing the guise of a man glazed in resilience. Yeah, so, yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
very
you.
eloquently
Yes.
put
so,
together.
Yeah.
Communications definitely stands out in your writing.
Oh my goodness.
I love your vocabulary. That was beautiful.
I've been enamored with words my entire life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, happy birthday to your father.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Yay. Oh, you'll get to show him this. That'll be great.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you for carving out time and space and holding space for you and I to engage in this organic dialogue of ours. I welcome the opportunity to do more of these.
Definitely.
On and offline.
Yeah,
So
we will make it happen.
I want to extend my gratitude.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I hope somebody learned something today, even if
So.
it is to stop and smell the roses.
Please.
Please just do it for yourself and for us, for whoever you love. They will appreciate it. That wraps up episode 4. Thank y'all for coming. We'll see you next time.
Everybody.
Peace. Yay.